Hi guys, and welcome to my channel. It is Karen here with you today, and today I'm actually going to share with you something that I have designed. So it's under my tag of Ink and Paper Tasmania, and it is available at Michelle Grant Designs. So it's actually an art pack and it's called Karma. So I'm going to have a bit of a play with it today. So to start off with, I've got my small dilutions journal, which I've already gessoed a page in. And I've actually grabbed out my rice paper that I designed with Scrap FX to put in the background. This pattern here looks quite familiar, I am sure, because you see it at the opening and ending of my YouTube videos. So I've just ripped a few little bits off and I'm just going to glue that in with some gel medium. I think I'm using the more liquidy one today. Yes, I am. We'd say it's a little bit thinner, so it's a bit easier to put on, especially with the tissue, which I'm going to use here in a minute. Anyway, so I've got my bit of rice paper down, so now I'm going to add a little bit more colour in the gaps here, and I'm going to use my Distress inks. So I've just put down my first layer and I'm getting that dry, and the rest of the layers I've cut out the drying, but it's important to dry the layers in between, so that's why I've put that little bit in there. So I'm just adding a little bit there and get that dry, and then come in with the next colour and get that bit dry, and then I've sprayed it with a workable fixative. Now I've done that because it is a dye ink, so if I go to put something else over the top of it, all those colours are going to run in together and lift off and make a huge mess. So here's my Buddha. So I've printed him out onto some tissue paper. This is one of the A5 sized Buddhas that you get in the art packs. So there's actually three different types of art packs actually. So it's split into two halves, or you can buy the full thing. So also in the art pack there are other little elements that you can use. So I've got this piece here which is a bit of text, and there's some mandalas that I have created as well. So I'm just ripping that out. There's one there. And of course the mandalas are all the same, but they are in different sizes. So here comes a big one. There we go, and they look so cool against that background. Well, I think they do anyway. So here's some of the littler ones coming in. So in the pack you get some A5, some A4 and some A6 sized printouts, which you can print out onto any type of paper that you like. So I've got out my Neon Colour 2 crayons here, and I'm going to add in a little bit more colour into Buddha's face, and this is just so that I can push back some of the layers that are underneath the tissue paper, just so like they're still there, but the neons are just going to hide them a little bit. So that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm putting the crayons on, and then I'm using a watercolor brush with some water just to move the colors around and mop up some of the extras as I go along. Adding in a little bit of pink there to his cheeks, but it wasn't quite bright enough, so I'll get that dry, and then I'll add in a little bit more purple around the hairline and the sides of the face, and come in with a little bit of blue actually to highlight some of the eyelids and some of the features to create some shadows onto the face, and mopping up some of the puddles a little bit around the side of the face and under the chin. There we go, under the chin there. Make it look like it's not so flat. And a little bit under the nose and under the lips. So we'll get that dry, and then we'll be able to add on a little bit more. So here we come with the brighter pink cheeks, and this makes a huge difference. I'm really happy with how I did that. So I'm mopping up the edges so that it looks not so much here and there, like I haven't got a real water tide line is what I'm trying to say, in between one colour and the next. So going around his ears. And I'm going to add in a little bit of yellow into the lotus that's in the middle of the Buddha's forehead. Now in the pack there is actually a plainer Buddha, so you can decorate the plainer one with however you want, and there's actually some extra lotuses and cherry blossom flowers and all sorts in there. So I've got out my piece here that I've printed out just onto normal card, and I was trying to find a punch or something to draw around the mandala so that I didn't have to freehand cut it, but unfortunately I didn't design that bit that well. You know, I wasn't thinking ahead of punches and things, so I'll just freehand it. And I've got a little bit of scrap left over here from Saturday Night Live that I did with Michelle Grant with some alcohol inks, so I'm just gonna glue those little circles on there just to add in a little bit more. There's also a quote sheet in the pack with loads of different quotes on it, but the one that I have picked today says, live simply, love generously, and learn constantly. So I've trimmed that up and I'm going to glue that bit in, just spinning that circle around because it's got some cool little drippy bits on it and I didn't want to cover those over. So now what I'm going to do is in the circles in Buddha's head, I'm going to draw some little flowers. Now you can do whatever you like with the circles in Buddha's hair. You can leave them blank, or you can do swirly lines like snails, or, you know, I've done little daisies. So I've cut out the majority of that because, you know, the boring daisies. Too easy. So the other thing I've done there is I've just grabbed out some paper artsy stamps and I'm just putting a little bit of stamping in and around the outsides of my page as well. A little bit of script, a little bit of scribble, and that little daisy flower. Now with the flowers in my Buddha, I'm just putting in a centre, or kind of a centre, with some yellow Life of Colour pen. And then with the tinier ones that are still there, I'm just going to put a little dot of pink in. So I'm just about finished actually. I'm just going to put some little white highlights onto my Buddha. So on the high cheeks and the nose, and a little bit on the chin, just to help bring those forward a little bit to make them look like the light is hitting them first. I've also got out my Amsterdam acrylic ink in deep gold. It's getting a bit low, this one. I'm finding it a bit hard to get the stuff onto the little dropper. But anyway, this is my page. I'm really happy with how it turned out, and I really like using the tissue paper because you can see all the other layers coming up through the tissue that I've put in the background. So I really hope you will go and check out Michelle Grant Designs and my art pack, Karma. The link is in the description box. And until next time, I will see you later. Have a great week. Okay, bye.